I will continue with the second part of my homily. In last Sunday's gospel about the miracles of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, Jesus provides for our physical, material needs, our daily bread. Yes, we do not live by bread alone, but we do not live without it either. So, having said that, I move beyond to focus on our other deeper and higher psychological and spiritual needs and desire. The so-called emotional and spiritual breath. So there are 7 basic desires which are planted in our heart by God. And God is both the creator and fulfillment of these desires. Of course, God fulfills all these desires in and through each other in the community. And if these basic desires are fulfilled, we will be able to enjoy a deeper and richer relationships with God and with others. And when we understand our desires and realize that they are the same for everyone, then we can live in a deeper and more meaningful community. That giving and receiving this desire can help us to connect with each other in closer ways. So last week I finished with the first 3 desires. First, to be heard and understood. Second, to be affirmed. And third, to be blessed. Now the 4th desire, to be saved. You need to feel safe, feel secured. We all desire to be free of all fears, anxieties, worries. To know that we are materially secured, that we have enough food to eat, a place to live, enough money to support ourselves, for health care, for old age. We need security in these basic needs. To know that we are spiritually safe, that God could be trusted, that God will keep His promises, that God really loves us as we are. To know that we are emotionally secured, that those around us are faithful, are reliable, that those people who say that they love us can be counted on to act lovingly. For married couples, husband and wife, when one spouse works overseas, that spouse need to be emotionally secure in the love that my spouse who travel always will be faithful. If not, I always have to call him or call her. No. This emotional security is very important. So when our desire for safety or security is met, we feel a certain freedom and confidence to explore the world, to take more risks. The 5th desire, to be touched. Just watch a newborn baby. They will cry and cry until they are picked up and held. And that skin-to-skin contact seems to comfort them. And when babies don't get enough touch, they fail to thrive and might even stop growing emotionally. So that desire to be touched stay with us throughout our lives. Another psychotherapist even dare to suggest that, well, every man needs at least 4 hugs a day for survival, emotional survival. 8 hugs for emotional stability and 12 hugs for fulfillment. That's why at the funerals, if we see friends in Greece, we reach out, we hug, and we touch, we hold hands. Our bodies are wired up to desire this touch. The desire to be touched has 2 forms of expression. First, we all have a desire to be sexually touched. And that is part of our human nature. God put it there so that we will be fruitful and multiply. Second, we all have a desire to be touched in non-sexual ways. However, because of our human weakness and brokenness, problems may arise when these 2 desires get confused. The desire for sexual touch is the energy or the fire within us to be passionate, to be productive, to be creative. So the sex drive is not evil, it is natural and it is good. But, as I said, because of our sinfulness and human weakness, it can be expressed in unhealthy, inappropriate, and sinful ways when we don't follow God's design for healthy sexuality. So the major problems of our life has to do basically with sexuality, because our sexuality is not well integrated. That makes us turn to pornography or inordinate need for masturbation and so on. Basically, our sexuality is not well integrated, as simple as that. So in the gospel, Jesus demonstrated the healing power of touch. He will hug the children or simply touch them when they were brought to him by the parents for his blessing. So when we seek to touch God and God seeks to touch us, it can be a wonderful healing experience. When we touch each other in healthy ways, in loving ways, it can be a wonderful experience of God's healing love. Years ago, when I was in Rome, after dinner, a few of us gathered in our English group. We have 1 Canadian, 1 American, 1 Filipino, and myself. That this American Capuchin, a professor in Rome for many years. During those times, USA, United States, was undergoing a crisis. A lot of sexual scandal, sexual abuse of children. So in our conversation, this American Capuchin, he felt very sad, even angry, expressed his emotion. He said, why? Because that time, the parents won't bring their children to the priest for blessing. Perhaps still even now, very careful in America, in Australia, those European countries, Ireland, and so on, because of this sexual abuse. And he was very sad and angry. Why? Because Christianity is a very down-to-earth religion. We are very earthly. We are fleshy. Touch is very important. We hug. We pet each other. We experience the closeness of friendship to the handshake, to the touch, to the pet. Now you cannot do that. What a loss. You speak that to the Filipino, to the Indonesians, it will never work because it's part of their culture. The culture is to hug and to dance. We are very earthly. It's not a totally transcendent religion. It's sad. Look at the gospel. Jesus touched. They don't lay hands like that. Or Jesus don't pray hands like that. Jesus hug and touch. The woman touched the garment of Jesus. The sixth desire, to be chosen. Of course, every sportsman longs to be chosen, to be part of this Olympic team to Paris. We desire to be chosen by someone to be in a special relationship. The desire for marriage also means that we want to be the only one chosen. It's a wonderful experience to be chosen, to be selected, to be elected. You feel special, you feel accepted, you feel desire. The desire to be chosen is the desire to be desired. In the Old Testament, in the Bible, it tells of God's chosen people. God's chosen people, the Jews, they are very proud of that. We are the chosen people. So it is full of stories of who God chose to do this and to do that. He chose Abraham. He chose Moses to lead his chosen people. He chose David to be the greatest king. He chose Father Julian Leo to be the Archbishop of Kuala Lumpur. He chose some of you to be the heads of certain ministries. But all of us are chosen by God in our own different ways. But it's a feeling of being chosen, of being called, of being chosen. The seventh desire to be included. The desire to be included is related to the desire to be chosen. And this desire, however, is broader. We desire to be included in fellowship with God and with others. We long to belong. So please, include me. Please, don't exclude me. I'm excluded. Include me. This desire is about community. It's about fellowship, loving fellowship. We long to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And this desire to be included starts with a desire in our soul to belong to a family. So it's a sad thing when we don't feel that we belong even in our own family. That we don't feel loved, we don't feel affirmed, we don't feel blessed, we don't feel accepted. So as we grow up, we long to belong to a group of friends, like in our parish, different group of friends. So God includes us in fellowship with Himself and with His Son through the fellowship of the Holy Spirit. And so Jesus warns us. Not like the Pharisees, separate. The word Pharisee means separate. Not to exclude, but to include. Inclusive church, inclusive community, and welcome each other in loving fellowship. So sisters and brothers, underneath every problem, hurts, and pain, there is always an unfulfilled desire. The ultimate joy and fulfillment in life is the result of having our basic desires met, as well as lovingly serving the desires of others. Some psychology called the psychic needs, you see. Many of us are broken because of the psychic needs. And these have the source back to our childhood. So when our basic needs are not met during the childhood, as we grow, we continue to seek fulfillment of these needs, but hopefully in a healthy way and not in an unhealthy way. And God fulfill all these needs in the community, starting with the family. So as we begin to understand this, we hope that we will become kinder or more gentle with ourselves, and kinder and more gentle with others. At the deepest level, they are desires that unite us. So as a child, which of your 7 desires will fulfill? Which desire or desires do you most long to have fulfilled even now? Which desires are easiest for you to give as a loving service to others? So it is rare, not easy, to find all people to have all these basic desires met. And that is our inner woundedness and brokenness. That's called today the healing of memory. Inner healing, inner healing. We need all these things. So delight in the Lord, and will give you the desires of your heart.